and Sue Broome. We're here for messages from your loved ones. Sue, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me, Miss Ruth.
So, messages from your loved ones. If y'all haven't been aware of that before, what we do is we use your information that you share with us in Facebook chat about somebody that you would like a message from, or just to sit in their energy for a little while. And we're talking about somebody that you have loved and lost due to that big transition. So when we do that, then we'll sit in their energy, and Sue pulls up a card. Actually, she waits for one to present itself from a deck that she made. It's a beautiful deck. And then we just talk with you about your loved ones. So if there's someone that you would like to hear from, please, in the chat on this page on Facebook, just put their name in on the chat, and then we'll respond to that. So, Sue, have you shared out, or you're still sharing out?
I shared to my personal page. I can't do it easily to Empowerment for You, so I'll have to do that later.
Okay. All right. Well, it's an interesting time. Sue and I are personally aware that it is a big time for folks ill and be dealing with the topic of their own transition. Whether they're going to transition soon or not, they're definitely dealing with that in their own way. So we just wanted to spend a little bit of time talking with you about that. So let's go first to folks that are ill and may or may not be on their way to transition. One of the messages that has come into me is figuring out how to support somebody without hovering. And I think that's a tricky one, because at least for me, when somebody gets really sick, I just want to just like envelop them and tell them all everything that I know and just support in whatever way. And I have to remember this person has their support team, and I'm an outlier. I am not the whole support team, right? So it is an interesting concept. Sue, what are your thoughts on supporting without hovering?
Well, it's interesting too, because just to ask someone, well, what do you need? They might not know, or what can I do for you today? They might not have any idea. So even thinking about, as I said that, looking at it, okay, are there things that you can do to support them in their everyday life? For instance, what are they maybe not able to do now? Are they not able to go to the store? Are they not able to, pick up around the house or make different meals? And those might sound like, well, those are like whatever, but they need that support. Many times they need that support. Even I heard a woman talking the other day. Now she was talking from the perspective that she had just lost her husband within the last couple of months, but she had been the caretaker for him. And she had let so many things go around the house because she was so focused on him. So you think about now someone who is ill, and maybe this is something new to them. Maybe they're a very active person and they're not used to being sick, in bed or on the couch or whatever. And so their whole lives are upside down. So even asking the question, well, if they say, I don't know what you can do, well, what would you have done a month ago on a Monday? What would you be doing? And help support them that way, as well as maybe they just want you to sit with them and not say anything, or watch a funny movie together. what has, I mean, I know you have so many people in your life with things going on. What have you found?
One of the things that seems, at least I feel like it's helping. I don't know if they feel like it's helping, but I feel like hold that person in spirit. If I go into a meditation, invite them in spirit to join me in meditation, and um, just sort of watch and participate. And some of that is just holding space for that person. And other times it's actively praying for that person, or asking in spirit, what can I do to support you? Because it's not just a physical event. When somebody's sick or preparing to transition or transitioning, it's happening on so many levels. And I'm getting goosebumps saying that. It's happening on the physical level, clearly, but on the emotional level and on the spiritual level. So I think for me, sometimes I'm more effective on the spiritual level, but always ask for permission before you just, go in. There's times, obviously, that someone's in an accident or they go in a coma or something. Ask in spirit. And if they don't want to be with you, they're not going to be there. Right. But just be open to that fact. Not everybody's open to the energy work. And so give them that option to not participate with you.
What's very interesting is about an hour ago, I was meditating on the couch right over there. And, and the question I wanted to ask was, what's the topic that Ruth and I can talk about? And one of the things that I have used in different ways that I've talked with people about before is doing exactly what you just said, is allow them to come into your heart space, open up the bubble of your heart space, however you want to language it, however you feel about it. So you can allow them as well as you can express things. So it's the same type situation, but coming at it from a different way, because maybe there are things that you don't feel comfortable saying to them, or maybe just holding them, yes, but also just, it's like allowing the love to be felt on an energetic. So it really is holding space in however you want to language it. But I find it interesting, like just an hour ago. Yeah. And the asking permission, absolutely, because I had worked with a friend years ago, and I was working with her, but she wanted to bring in her boyfriend. So of course I'm asking permission of his higher self, and no, he did not want none of it. So you have to honor them, because if they want to, they will. If they don't, if they're not ready, it's up to them.
It was so interesting. So and Debbie, Debbie asked, are we delivering messages today? We are. If you want to receive a message from a loved one, just please put their name there in the message. And welcome, Andrea and Debbie. So interesting. I was working with a family member as she was dealing with cancer, and we didn't know if she was in it for the long haul of being sick but going to live, or if she was going to be on her way out. And I worked with her over the phone. So, I mean, literally, she knew what I was doing, and I was telling her everything I was seeing. And we would just go into meditation, and just whatever spirit was sharing, then I would share with her. And well, almost everything. I did not share everything because I could see, and this was about 6 months before she passed, they were working with her on clearing on an energetic and emotional level so she would be ready to transition. So I knew 6 months before she died that that's really sort of where they were heading. So, but I find that fascinating because they're working with us. And what a gift to know that they're preparing us. They're watching and knowing every single thing that's happening in our lives, and they're preparing us. I just think it's fascinating. Let's see. Andrea Gregg would like a message from Karen. And Debbie will get to you in just a minute.
Okay, so Andrea from Karen.
Karen.
Feel your prayers of love. Oh, that's beautiful. And it's almost like this, the picture, you can see the sun and all the rays going up. It's like the sun is the prayers, the love that are going up and out. And I feel like it's both ways, you know, it's, yes, we are doing that for them. And it's definitely felt. But when we stop and take a breath and allow ourselves to really connect, we can feel their rays of love coming back. So I feel like this is twofold. And it's so interesting because it's like it's amplified. So if you allow yourself the space to feel the love that's going back and forth, it's amplified on both sides. It's like the rays come together and they're amplified. So if you think you're feeling it to start with, you'll notice that you're really feeling it as you allow yourself to be in it.
So what I was getting is along those same lines. So what I was getting, Andrea, that pointing them out and smelling each one and finding the joy in each one. And when you finished enjoying one, then it was like, oh, wait, look at this one. And, you know, bringing it in. And such joy when life is shared with someone that you love. And what Karen is showing me here is that she's still there sharing joy with you. Be open to feeling it. And I'm getting goosebumps again. Be open to feeling it and believing in whether it's flowers, but that's what she was showing me, or looking at jewelry or whatever it is that brings you joy. Feel her there with you doing that. My totally different topics, but sort of not really. My sister and I find a lot of joy in going to like Goodwill and art. And we always go to like the China and the glass, what we call glassables. And we like the old timey glassware. And that's joy for us. It's so stupid. You can go spend $3 and just enjoy the afternoon with each other. And whenever I have gone to do that without her, I walk in and I walk out. I mean, it's not fun without her. And I'm aware that for me, I'm enjoying life more because she's here with me. She won't always be here with me, and I know that. And so this message is for me too. Andrea, I know that when she's no longer here with me, she will still be here with me, and I'll still be able to enjoy it, but I'll be enjoying her in a different way. Does that make sense? So,
You might even still feel the tugs of, Ruth, look at this one. Ruth, did you see this?
yeah.
And I feel like that's what Karen, as you're talking, I feel like that's what Karen is doing with Andrea. It's like, come look at this. Smell this flower. See this thing. Oh, did you see the bee buzzing?
Yeah. Yeah. Joy.
Joy.
And Andrea said, wonderful. I feel their love and joy. Yes, that's what it's about. Yeah. Okay. Debbie. Hey, Tammy Hill. I'm glad you're here. Debbie Grassberger. I'm going to say it wrong. Schmoll said, I would love to receive a message, my grandma Anne or my father Frank. Either would be greatly appreciated. I have a grandma Anne, so I feel that connection right there, right now.
I was gonna say, I think it's Grandma Ann.
Okay, so we're rhyming with schmoly. She said, holy schmoly. Yeah, okay. Oh, Andrea said that sounds just like Karen. Aw, that is who Karen is for you.
Well, Grandma Ann must be a talker because she came up pretty fast. And it's interesting because both of my grandmas have been gone for a long time, but it was Grandma Broome that came up, and Grandma Broome was a talker. Notice the flowers I send you. Oh my gosh, which is hilarious because my Grandma Broome had a wonderful flower garden. So I feel like there's definitely, and what's interesting is because Ruth was just talking about flowers, I happen to have a background on my computer screen of flowers, and I have other ones. They're not all flowers. It's like she speaks to you through flowers, and it may be the color of a flower that you notice. It may be the flower itself. It may be the aroma of a flower, but I feel like she speaks to you in flowers. And there may even be things in your house, like maybe you have pillows with prints of different flowers that were inspired by her, whether you realized it or not, or maybe you got them when she was still here. But it feels like there's inspirations of Grandmother Anne that are around your house that come through in flowers. I also am picking up cooking, which has nothing to do with the flowers, but yes, I'm also, it's like, I don't know what it was that all of a sudden just like some spice just took me there. So Ruth, take it away.
Yes. So the first thing that I got was the smell of cooking. And then I saw this casserole being served, and it was abundant. And what I heard was, this is how I show love. And it had to do with the abundance. And I'm sure the time and the energy to create it, but even while creating it, it was created with the thought of the person that was going to be eating it, you know, the love that comes through that kind of cooking. And this is so funny because I heard the words, "This is how I show love." And then I also heard, "Keep eating." Like, I want to hear what you have to say, but keep eating, like, because this is how I show my love. Now, I don't know, Debbie, you know, it's so interesting. We never know how much time the person we're talking to actually got with that person, or if it has to do with maybe a different lifetime or something. So I will be very curious to know. Oh, Debbie said, "That's amazing. I show my love and creativity through cooking." Okay, so maybe I was reading you, Debbie. Debbie, did you ever get to be with Grandma Ann when she was cooking for folks? Interesting.
So I also want to point out to everybody to listen to the chimes when you can hear them. I hear Ruth's. I can't hear mine as well because I'm in a different room. But notice that because sometimes they will intensify. Sometimes you're not hearing them, and sometimes you can only hear just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. That's spirit speaking as well.
Debbie said, "I didn't get much time with her as we live far apart, but I have a lot of her recipes." Yep, yep. So when you are cooking, in particular, those recipes, try to put yourself in that mindset of her. Maybe envision her standing there, right there, cooking with you. Yeah, it's very special. This is how I show love. Keep eating.
Yes.
Keep eating. I love that. You know, it's interesting. We all have our own way of showing love and support for other people. So it's fun to get a sneak peek into other folks and how it is that they do that. That's lovely. One of the things that I wanted to bring up, we had a celebration for my girlfriend that died a year ago now. She was a no, the zoo was the benefactor. What would that make her? No, the benefactor is the one that gives, right? The beneficiary is the one that receives.
Yeah, sure.
Let's go with that.
Yeah.
So all of her worldly goods went to the zoo because she had been a docent there for the zoo for 37 years, I think. It was such a passion of hers. So we had an event at the zoo about a week ago, just kind of fascinating. Her original celebration of life, there were, gosh, 90 people maybe. And this event was much more select, and there were probably 30 people for that. But it was so beautiful to do something for her a year after she passed. And I had a visitation with her shortly before we did the event. So I knew that while she was in my thoughts, I was also in her thoughts. So it was beautiful. But the importance of keeping the people that we loved and lost in the forefront, whether it's photos or, you know, cooking Grandma Ann's recipes, you know, but really keeping them alive in our thoughts. I just think it's really important.
It is. It's, and say that when you're going through, I'll just use grandma because my Grandma Lindy, my brothers and I were the ones that went through her house and things. And, there are things that you want to hang on to for a keepsake. And Or maybe you're not going to keep her china, but you take a picture of her china. Or keep something. But that, I think not only keeping them alive in your memories, I think celebrating them on their anniversary day, on their birthdays, by lighting a candle. Or some people have also gotten like a birthday card and written it out like they're going to send it to them. And even on the outside of the envelope, put who it's going to. Maybe not put an address, but put who it's going to. Don't put a return address. Don't put a stamp on it, and actually go and mail it.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, that feels right. So however you are keeping them alive, and I'd love to hear anybody that's still with us, how do you keep them alive? What is it that you do that celebrates them?
Yeah, and I cherish the special times that we're there and include them as if they were there, especially on special occasions and holidays. Yeah.
Yep. And even going back to what we were talking about before, about creating, a love bubble, a space, and sitting down and having a cup of tea with someone. Like for me, my mom died when I was 13. It's like I think about her like almost every single morning when I am having my first cup of coffee, and she did not like coffee, by the way. But thinking about, wow, that would be so awesome to sit down and have a cup of coffee, a cup of tea with her. And I do think, like, I think she'd like it out here. She'd have to have a swimming pool, but I think she'd like it out here. And I think her and I would be friends, not the mother-daughter, but I think we would be friends. So those are things that you can do right now to help keep them alive and to keep the relationship going. Just different, but it's there.
Yeah. Do you feel your parents around you very often?
My mom, I do. My dad, not so much, but I know I know he's around because I see him in numbers in some of the most bizarre things, bizarre places where it's like, did I just hear that right? It's either a 312, which was his birthday, or a 338, which March 1938. So I do see that a lot. But my mom, I feel her more. And there's an image, I think I've shared it on my Facebook a while ago, but it's my favorite, absolute favorite image. Oh, and I'm wearing her earrings today. These were her.
Oh,
But there's an image, my absolute favorite is when I was a baby and I'm looking up at her with the biggest smile.
aw.
And there go my chimes. And that is just yeah, I just loved her so much, even when I was a baby.
Do you know what we might want to do? Debbie, I'm assuming you're still on here. She had asked for a message from Grandma Ann or her father, Frank. Should we see if there's a message from
Sure, Father Frank.
Okay. Oh, Debbie said, I have created a dream house that I go to in my meditations, and I have a room where my loved ones and guides visit with me. Well, that's sweet.
That's perfect.
That's very Debbie's dream house.
So
Yeah. Okay, Frank. And Shiraz will be with you in just a minute. And her father passed just last year.
All right. I am very proud of you. This is kind of such a dad thing for dads to say, but I almost get the feeling that either it's, I think he definitely was, and it feels like there were times that he would speak his mind about how proud he was, how much he loved you, but not enough.
Mm.
But he was, and there were things that he did to show you in different ways. And you knew. It's like, yeah, that's just the way dad shows me he loves me. It was like he, and behind your back, in a positive thing, he would talk about how proud he was of you, your accomplishments or things that you had created. I feel like there's something that you did. I don't know if it was something that you painted, something that you sewed, something that he was very proud of. And he told a lot of people, and you might not have ever known that he did that. So very proud of you. So hopefully that rings.
So, Debbie, the image that I got was wood paneling, like in an old-timey office. And it was still. And the impression that I'm getting is still waters run deep. And I think, Sue, because I was only half listening, you said maybe he didn't tell you as much as he might have thought it. I'm getting not that he wasn't a conversationalist, but he thought a lot, perhaps more than he shared. And there's something about this space with this wood paneling. There's like old timey photos. This love for you, I mean, it sounds silly, goes way, way, way back. Like even before you were born, love for you. So I don't know if it's, shared lifetimes at other times. But I guess when I think of at least my father, I don't think about how much he loved me all of my life. I might think how much he loved me the last year of his life. Was more current, but not all those years. And what I'm seeing here, so much love for you all of those years. It's just interesting, the old timey. She said, Debbie said, he didn't say it much to me, but I knew as I went through his belongings that he had many things from my life I didn't know he had. There you go. Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. That is it.
Yeah.
Nutshell. It's interesting too, Ruth, as you're talking, like he was like a thinker contemplating. And I almost get the feeling that sometimes he might actually think that he told you, or what a great job.
Yeah.
And you're waiting for it. And his in his mind, he did.
Yes. Like, of course you know how much I love you. Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
I totally understand that. Yeah. One thought comes to mind. I was married a million years ago. When I was 20, I got married, and then I got divorced when I was 30. And it hit me later that my first husband really did love me, but I didn't recognize how he was loving me. And I think Debbie with your dad. And I think with so many people, we don't recognize how they're showing their love. I think that's what that was going on there, Debbie. Okay, so Shiraz, let's see. Shiraz, I think the last name is pronounced Sena, maybe. You're going to let me know if I'm wrong. Would love a message from my grandmother, as she was my angel. Her name was Roshan. She passed away in 2006. Roshan.
Another granny today.
Wednesday.
She came up pretty quick too. I think she likes that you call her your angel. I think she likes that.
Yeah, you said she was my angel. I think she is your angel.
Yeah, and this is so
Okay.
perfect. I watch over you always. It's like, well, what do angels do? They watch over us. Yeah, I feel like she's like, yay, almost like there's just this little sparkle in her eye. It's like, well, she noticed. So it's actually it's kind of, when people see feathers on their path, it's like, oh yeah, that's from an angel. And I think for you, it's a little bit of both. It's almost like she's teaming up with the angels and they work together to to share to share things with you, feelings with you. Um, I the words I'm hearing right now too are the immensity of love.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I feel that it was like, this might sound kind of corny, but she was honored for you to be in her life. Not in a corny way, but in a, not guardianship, but watching over you, seeing you grow, grateful to share your spirit this lifetime.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, there's a immensity is not a word that I typically use, but that's what I'm feeling with her energy. So that's good.
What I'm seeing is detailed beadwork. Detailed. And some folks are big picture people, and some folks are tiny little details. And what I am getting is such fastidious beadwork. And I don't even know that it has anything to do with beadwork as much as that's just the visual that they're showing me to show me this. And it would be like on picture day, and people, go to school looking pretty nice. Well, I see you with like braids with little details, little tiny beading, little something special in there because grandma was taking care of the details. But I'm also seeing the time where her ability to do the details, she wasn't able to at a certain point, and you had to then kind of fill in, and she had to let go of being able to do the details. And that's a hard one when you have to let go of something that sort of really makes up who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shiraz said she lived with us and loved me so much. Yes, her eyes always sparkled. I think she was acutely aware of, oh, she embroidered very well, made my food, looked after me. Yeah. Yeah. I think there's something so poignant when you see your own abilities changing to where you need somebody else to fill in some of those things that you used to be able to do yourself. And I'm just seeing with her that that was poignant time for her.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It also feels like when she got to that point and she wasn't able, but she saw that you had learned from her, there was also like a warmth, a warming of the heart that she felt. And I'm getting chills.
Yeah. Shiraz said in the last years she had to be looked after a lot, but her spirit never broke. And I think she was aware of everything folks were doing for her with
Yeah.
such appreciation and gratitude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, that's beautiful. So we've got a few more minutes. If anybody else has somebody that they would like a message from. Sue, different topic.
Mhm.
One of my friends has been newly diagnosed with a potentially life-threatening issue. And I think whenever somebody gets a diagnosis like that, it automatically puts you into the am I going to die place, even though we all know at some point we're going to die. But I think it takes you to also that place of life is never going to be the same as it was yesterday or last week, where I could go through life sort of not paying attention to my own mortality. And I think just a reminder there for all of us, nobody's getting out alive. And really live your life the way that you want to be living your life as best you can, because once you get that diagnosis, once you figure out probably what's going to take you out, you can never go back to that time of carefree abandon. Enjoy it while you've got it and really live your life the way you want to be doing, because at some point you won't be able to. And none of us want to have regrets.
Yeah. And even if you have a diagnosis like that, that sounds like, and I know that many times, with certain illnesses, they give people time frames.
Mm.
Look at living each day for what it is. Not so much, oh, they said 3 months. Oh, but live each day for what it is. Bring yourself, do things that bring you joy, do things that bring you happiness. Spend time with friends, spend time with family. Watch funny movies instead of movies that are scary, live each day.
Oh. Well, Sue, is there anything else you want to share with friends today before we say goodbye?
I think just spend time with your loved ones, whether they're here or on the other side.
True.
For instance, my brother Steve, actually it was really Steve after he passed. He was the one that helped these cards come out very quickly. My other brother Chris helped a little bit, but it was more Steve. But he was the one that his house blew up. I don't know what caused it, but there was a lot of things. But he's pretty proud of himself. And anytime especially a friend of mine, whenever Steve comes up, it's like, oh yeah, he's pretty proud of how he went out. It's like, I don't cry over, I don't feel sad over how he went out. Though people are like, oh my gosh, it blew up. It's like, yeah, he was pretty proud of it. So I don't know why I said that, why I'm telling you that, but I felt I needed to.
Well, that's a really good point. We put our judgments and perspectives on other people, how they transition out, about their illness, etc. We do that all the time. It's just a natural tendency. I don't think it's our place to, honestly. I mean, just a quick story. My father passed from mesothelioma, so it's the lining around the lungs. And he had 9 months he was never in pain, thank God. But he dealt with it for 9 months before he passed. And I could be sitting there going, oh, this is awful, this is horrible. He only had 9 months. That was the best 9 months of his life. As far as healing relationships, it was amazing. I mean, even his little brother said, we were never as close throughout our whole lives. And my dad died at 89. Throughout all of those years, they were never close until the last 9 months.
Yeah.
So no reason to judge it or put my perspectives on it. It was perfect.
Yeah. So 3 months isn't a death sentence. You could live your best life in those 3 months.
Or you could live for 6 or 9 months or a year.
Yeah, I'm just using that
Yeah,
because we're talking about, but yes, absolutely. And who knows, because 3 months might not, things could shift and change. You never know.
you never know.
Never know. So live each day to the fullest.
Yep. With gratitude. There we go.
So
Well, Sue Broome, thank you for this. So next month, November.
11/11.
Ooh, okay. All right. November 11, friends, please be with us for that. So, Sue Broome, thank you. So much love to you. And friends, thank you for being here, and join us next month for Message.